Hey, fragrance lovers and friends. Welcome back. Centaur here. Really changing the channel to Daddy, talking about real news and real life issues and dating, things like that going forward in the future. But today we're talking about you as a fragrance viewer, what you need to know about the fragrance world or for what you need to know getting into fragrances. This is going to be familiar. There's going to be a lot of things if you've been watching my channel or if you're very familiar with my content. There are some things that you've heard before, but a lot of things that you might need to be reminded of. And if you're new to fragrance, welcome, welcome. This might be one of the most helpful videos you could have ever watched and could have ever clicked on. So welcome. Let's jump into the video and have some fun. So the first point I wanted to make with you watching fragrance views or watching fragrance reviews and videos is that fragrance reviewers might be paid. Now, I'm not saying that being paid is the the end all be all. It, makes them a bad person or makes the fragrance review illegitimate. Some people might argue that might be, but it certainly can. But it can ruin it. It really depends on the fragrance reviewer. So they might be distracted from their purpose or the hobby or the passion. They might switch loyalties. They might not they might not be so loyal to the viewer anymore and as authentic as they used to be. They might get a pretty lady to co-host with them on their channel and start spinning those wheels on fragrances and being attractive and all that stuff. And people are kind of taking these aspects of fragrance that really aren't focused on the fragrance. They're focusing on other things. And yes, you have to be able to focus and talk about fragrances to make it relate to people and help them in the real world. And I suppose a lot of people just wear fragrances or just think about fragrances to be attractive. But to me, fragrances is so much more. And that's one reason I ever got into fragrance, was to prove or get talk about that point, that fragrances is much more than just being attractive. It's so much more than that. But anyways, let's jump into the next point. Top 10 list are introductory information. If you're deep into the fragrance hobby, you already know this. But, again, top 10s get a bad rap. They kind of deserve it to some degree, but they can be helpful introductions to fragrances. I think top 10 videos should be used to give you a lot of new fragrances, to introduce you to certain types of fragrances. And certainly this has been done and is being done by some fragrance reviewers. And I threw in my hat and made some of those videos. So if you're like looking for fragrances to go to the beach or go to a pool party, and there's so many other topics that you could do about this. Fragrances, it just helps people understand when or where they might wear a fragrance and think about their lifestyle. Certainly is very helpful. So, top 10 list can help you. But if you want more information, if you actually, before you go on a blind buy or decide to commit to something, do your research. Go to Fragrantica, go to Base Notes, research around, find information as much as you can, and then make a more educated decision. Of course, your nose is the deciding factor. So you need to smell something and decide if you like it. Not convince yourself that you like it because somebody said it was the best of the best, or somebody said that you need to have it or must have it or should buy it, or that your collection's incomplete without it. Buy something because it actually smells good to you. So top 10 lists aren't all bad. They can be helpful, but you really have to figure out or decide for yourself, is a fragrance reviewer worthwhile, or is that video worthwhile watching? Because some people do take advantage or play the game of the algorithm, and they just keep sharing the same fragrances with you, the Bleu de Chanel's, the certain Sauvages, and they keep going on and on about certain popular fragrances because they know it gets them clicks to the video, instead of actually making a helpful video that actually introduces you to more fragrances. So encourage maybe you might even have to make a comment and encourage the person you watch to be creative, have that creativity, have some wit, have some humor, have some darn honesty, and of course we want some intelligence in there. So let's jump into the next point. Fragrance changes on your skin. There's no doubt about that. Skin chemistry is a real thing, but I don't think it's the biggest thing. I think that with skin chemistry, it might change the fragrance 20-30%. Some people think that it's going to completely change the fragrance on your skin. I've never had that experience and I've never seen that on other people, but maybe that's the situation for you, that the fragrance completely changes. I think it's 20, 30, maybe 40% of the fragrance might change, and that might be a dramatic change on your skin. So do test fragrances, of course, on your skin. Fragrances are going to heat up on your skin. They're going to react to the oils. How oily is your skin? That also definitely affects performance. How long the fragrance stays on your skin, and the projection, and your pH level, and salt, and a lot of things can affect the fragrance on your skin. So use tester strips can help you not get overwhelmed or sick when you're going to that mall or that boutique or smelling as much as you can. But as you know, of course, test on your skin if you actually are going to commit to buy something and wear it for a couple of days. Maybe get yourself that sample. Ask for a sample when you go to the mall or boutique. Smell everything. Find what you actually like, and then actually test it on your skin. Don't. So many people are just blind buying or trusting or convincing themselves that they like things because somebody said something was good. Next is, let's talk about how fragrance smell is very opinionated. It's very common for people to make this point, saying that it's just scented water. I really hate people saying that. I think it's one of the most annoying or destructive things to this hobby. That's like saying TV is just pixels on a screen. Like, I get the point that it's not, they're saying something, it's not the most important thing in the world, but they're also devaluing it essentially at the same time. But fragrance is very opinionated. Some people put a lot of importance on fragrance and some people put little, but also, there's a lot that goes into it. There's certain ingredients. Some people are not familiar with different ingredients. Some people can't tell you how the difference of coumarin smells from turmeric, or jasmine smells from iris, etc., etc. Some people have never smelled those notes or those things individually. So a fragrance reviewer, them trying to communicate to you how a fragrance smells, they might not know the words, or they might not even know the differences between notes and what they are able to detect. And then they have to be able to communicate that to you. And we all have different abilities, different skill sets, and different talents. And try to find somebody who works for you. Maybe communicates in a way that you would understand, or maybe that you're comfortable with their level of knowledge or expertise. And and I think that's a good thing. There's all kinds of different reviewers and all kinds of different hobbyists at different levels that take different approaches to fragrances. So that's not a bad thing. You might have to look around to find somebody who works for you. So fragrance, and it's focus on how fragrance makes you feel. Once again, that's what really matters at the end of the day. When you test that fragrance, maybe look for that feeling. As when a fragrance reviewer talks about a certain fragrance that might make you feel a certain way, maybe look for that fragrance, and that might be the most important thing a fragrance reviewer can do. Tell you how the fragrance makes them feel, and then that fragrance might make you feel that way. So the next point is a really big one. It might be the biggest point in this entire video. Is attraction should not be your focus. I think that the advertisements, Dolce Gabbana, Light Blue, and all of these, they focus so much on attraction, and of course, people have associated fragrances in the past with being attractive, but it's really become a phenomenon that guys out there are intentionally going out there and buying fragrances, and that might be, I don't know if it's the biggest sector of people buying fragrances, but it's certainly a big part of it. I don't know the percentages, maybe 50% or more. And fragrances, can help you be attractive. There is no doubt. Fragrances can help you become more attractive, and will work in your favor, can work in your favor. But it's not going to completely change how you look. You have to look the part, be the part. Again, if you just want to go out there and just have relationships, that's fine. But if you want, I guess it depends on your approach to life. If you actually want commitment or a relationship, the lady, a fragrance isn't going to make that, that happen, but if you just want a fling or something casual, fragrances can work. But again, don't expect a miracle. Don't expect a magic potion. Don't expect a love potion. I think some people have this idea in their head that, with like the with like bod commercials, or what was that, Axe, that the guys will be like attacked by women just because you wear a fragrance. It's quite ridiculous, and that's not really the way to, definitely not the way to treat ladies either. So, wear fragrance if you like to, and it can't, with that intention of being attractive, but don't expect, it to change everything about you. But again, don't be disheartened, because fragrances can be a tool for you, to be, work in your favor, no doubt about it. But, you know, it's not the end all be all. Anyways, the next one might be the biggest and the most controversial of this whole list. Compliments are largely a lie. Yes, I'm going to be bold and say it straight out. Compliments are largely a lie. Unless you live in a highly populated city, in a public position where people see you and people like to see you, and people already have a very good image of you and want to talk to you, and already want to compliment you, and especially if you're already fairly attractive as well to boot, you're going to get compliments even without a fragrance. But if you have fragrances, that's something where somebody can compliment you on, just like a new pair of shoes or a new haircut. So, when people talk about they get so many compliments, please be very aware of, what kind of lifestyle somebody might lead or what situation they might be in. If they're in Miami or some hugely populated city, depending on the culture or depending on who you're around, you might get more compliments than other people. But most people don't get very many compliments at all. Compliments are very rare or few in between. But you can tell when you leave an impression by people's body language or facial impressions. You can stand out with fragrance. Fragrances can get you noticed, and maybe the most important thing is that they can create a memory with friends or family, or that maybe that romantic relationship. It can, but verbal compliments where somebody chases you down the street or just goes out of their way to give you a compliment, it's not very common. And you watch these videos and get this idea that you want this, or this could be you could walk out the door right now, put on a couple sprays of fragrance, and walk out the door, and somebody could be right there to give you a compliment. You might go days, weeks, months, an entire year, and might not get a fragrance. It really depends on a lot of factors. Again, you have to be aware about all that: how you dress, how you act, how you look. How many sprays did you put on? Are you wearing enough to get noticed, or maybe you're wearing too much, where you seem like you're trying too hard, or maybe you're just it's offensive. Even if it's a good fragrance, you're just wearing too much of it, where you're choking people out. You might want to be very aware of those kinds of things. So the next point is you probably can't or shouldn't want to keep up with the fragrance reviewers. They keep up with the Joneses. You want to have the biggest collection, the best collection. You want to have just as much, if not more, than the fragrance reviewers. Some of these big time fragrance reviewers are starting. This is a real career for them. They're making real money. They're starting to live off of this, and you're not going to likely be able to keep up with that, because they're making a living off of this. They're getting free bottles. They likely are selling fragrances all the time to keep up, or just get rid of what they don't want, but maybe be able to fund the next fragrance review. So don't feel like you have to, and it's probably wouldn't benefit you if you just kept up with all of them. The benefit of watching a fragrance reviewer is them giving you that experience, or that some of that knowledge, or some of that advice that you couldn't, because that saves you money, so you don't have to buy everything. That's the whole point of watching a fragrance reviewer. If you were just going to buy everything yourself, why even watch the fragrance reviewer? Why not become a fragrance reviewer yourself? Maybe. Become very picky. I see so many people who have so many fragrances, and they know that they're never going to be able to wear them. Some people are serious collectors. More power to you. You find enjoyment in having rare, unusual, discontinued, vintage, and having backup bottles of even vintage stuff. I've seen some people, they have like 3, 4, 5 bottles of highly coveted, extremely expensive fragrances, and they're just tucked away, and they're going bad slowly but surely. So fragrances, we'll talk about that in a second. Fragrances going bad, but in reality, you only need maybe you don't even need 20, but 20 fragrances will suit your needs, especially if you're being aware, thinking of your lifestyle, where you like, the temperatures around you, the seasons, or whatever factors you actually care about. Think about where you wear fragrances, what situations you're in, how you want to come across, what kind of social events that you go to. Maybe you go to a lot of weddings. Maybe you've never been to a wedding in your entire life. It really depends on you. So 20 fragrances is more than enough, and you likely will never be able to wear 50 fragrances in your entire life. Depends on how much you spray, how much you like to wear fragrances, and how often you wear them. But most people won't be able to, if they even wanted to, wear 50 fragrances in their entire life. So if you have more than that, you're probably never going to get to use them or wear them. They're, probably there's going to be some waste involved for sure. So the next point is fragrances can go bad, and I want to lead into that. So to help your fragrances stay longer, keep them in a cool place. Closets definitely work. Maybe have a dedicated a big box or a chest. That's another way to go. You can put them on a shelf. Some people do that. But definitely keep your fragrances out of direct sunlight, or if you do take very hot, steamy showers, keep your fragrances out of that bathroom. Those are the worst places. Again, direct sunlight and hot, steamy bathrooms are very common for people. People want to display their fragrances and put them in that bright sunlight where the light glistens off of that crystal glass, and people want to be able to quickly apply fragrances and in their bathroom, and it's just a part of their routine, and it makes it convenient. And also leaving fragrances in cars. Now, I've advocated for having a very cheap fragrance that you don't care about as something for a backup, maybe something that's more synthetic, that the temperature's not going to kill it really quickly. So maybe you could do that, but don't store your fragrances in your car either, and they might get stolen. So, that's some advice to you, my friends. So we have a couple more points. Let's wrap this up. Apply fragrances. How to apply fragrances. I got some advice on how to do that. I've seen some terrible videos that tell you how to apply fragrances. You need to apply fragrances to your arms. Not only does that give you a little bit more reach, almost like getting a little bit of extra projection, but that allows you to smell the fragrance throughout the day. Now, some ladies might enjoy fragrances in their hair. I've heard that some people do, but some people tell me that strips their fragrances of oils and makes their hair brittle, and it's a terrible, terrible thing. So test that, figure out what works with you and where you like to apply fragrances. But really, the worst advice that I've ever seen is people saying that you should wear fragrances directly on your chest. Now, there's no doubt that if you wear a natural fragrance like Yves Saint Laurent Cabane, oh my goodness, that would work on your chest. Where it's natural, a natural fragrance. It's soft and possibly for a romantic situation. Oh, Cabane, put a couple sprays on your chest of that going to bed. My goodness, that'd be beautiful. But the thing is, if you put a strong fragrance on your chest, or most fragrances on your chest, that's going to force that fragrance as it comes off of your skin to, choke your nose out, make you go nose blind or anosmic, so you can't smell anymore, and you're not going to be able to enjoy that fragrance throughout the day. I see some people, and they put on 10, maybe more sprays of a strong fragrance, and they say it doesn't perform, and then they get mad or angry about the fragrance, and it's probably because they went nose blind. And some fragrances can make you go very nose blind depending on what's in the fragrance. And Ambroxan sometimes does that very quickly to people as well. And Ambroxan can make people go nose blind quick, where they can't really smell anything anymore. So please be aware of that. Again, the best places to apply fragrances is your arm, maybe the back of your neck. Also try spraying fragrances on your legs or the back of your leg and see how that works for you. So again, if you want to have a little bit of that sillage or that trail where people, you make that impression when you walk by, spray a little fragrance on your neck. You'd be really surprised how well that works in your favor. So the next point I wanted to make, the last one, is buy things because you actually like them. Don't buy a fragrance because some fragrance guru or somebody tells you that you need to have it. Buy it because you like the fragrance. It actually makes you feel good. Don't buy something and convince yourself to like it because somebody else said it was good. It drives me crazy in this fragrance community. So many people buy things, blind buy them, and then convince themselves that it's the best of the best because so and so said it was, and they don't know really why they like the fragrance, or they don't really know anything about the fragrance. And you can be casual about the hobby, buy a couple fragrances that really work, that are tested and true. Invictus by Paco Rabanne, CH Men Privé, the new Le Male Les Parfums. And there's so many more out there that you could wear. The Armani Code Profumo, the EDP version. Spice Bomb, the original EDT. Fragrances that are tried and true. I mean, you could just wear them and enjoy them, and you don't have to think about them. But if you want to, enjoy this hobby, get deeper into it, you certainly can. You don't have to go crazy for the world of niche. Don't feel pressured to do that. That's, again, some advice. I think all of y'all know that. But, do what feels fun to you. You might find that you become a niche head, that you like the rare ingredients, the intricate works of the perfumery, and that you really want to care about the details. But you might find that you want to go casually throughout your day and just enjoy a fragrance and not even have to think about it, and know that you're probably the best smelling guy, the best smelling lady, or the best smelling person, whoever, whatever, in the entire world, or in that room, whatever. So definitely, make this happy. It's strange to me in this fragrance world or community where so many people are doing things because of an influencer instead of what brings them authentic happiness. Be authentic, be true to yourself, and have fun. That's what this is all about. And you might, there's all kinds of different fragrance people. People who love the cheapies, people who love the hidden gems, people who love the discontinued, people who like custom made fragrances for themselves, very expensive. Some people who love the niche and indie. There's so much out there. So have fun out there. Let me know let me know how you feel about all this. Are fragrances a magic potion? Just because you wore fragrance, did you get some action? Has fragrances made you feel good? Have you were you ever convinced to buy a fragrance? I personally do not think it's cute or funny when other fragrance reviewers say that so and so made me buy a fragrance, and they think it's funny or cute or good. It's a good idea to have that type of attitude or culture. Absolutely not. You don't need to be convinced to buy something. I don't think that should be the attitude that we should have. Let me know your feelings and thoughts on all this down below and more. And thank you so much for being, watching my channel here today. Again, I'm going to be starting to switch to advice covering real world issues, dating advice, culture, and so much more here on the Daddy channel. But again, I do love fragrances, and I did want to get some of my opinions and heart out. So I'm going to do a couple final top 10 lists, again, that are really actually worthwhile, because I think that they need to be made, and I think that they need to be done. So hope that y'all enjoyed this here today, this video, and I'll see you in the next one, my friends. Again, help me out down below. You know what to do if you do like this channel and this video here today. I'll see you soon, everybody. Have a good one. Have a beautiful one. I'll see you soon. Bye.